Hello, this is Alec Kerr, the film critic for the Conway Daily Sun, with my thoughts on the new vampire movie, The Daybreakers. And this is a really smart, cleverly written take on the vampire mythology. And the basic premise here is, in the future, a virus has turned the vast majority of the population into vampires, and the remaining humans are hunted down for their blood and put into these contraptions that suck the blood out of them. And there's 5% of the human population left, and so Ethan Hawke is working for a corporation trying to create a synthetic blood, and he's not doing very well at that. And just when he's about to give up, he's tapped by a group of survivalists led by Willem Dafoe to help them find a cure, and they have a bit of information that can aid him in that process. And it's just a really fully realized universe, this vampire world. And the real interesting idea that's at the core of the film, and it's interesting that it hasn't been explored yet, is that vampires essentially live their lives the way they did as humans, except that instead of, working during the day, they work during the night. Because this is a film that, unlike the Twilight series, doesn't allow vampires to walk around in the daylight. But there's even interesting ways that the film works around that. They have these customized cars that block out all the windows so they can drive around during the day, and then there are video cameras that allows them to see, all around the car. And there's a real interesting, exciting chase scene where Ethan Hawke has been, taken by the survivalists to help. But they're being chased by the other vampires, and so as the car's getting shot, the little beams of light are going through the vehicle, so Ethan Hawke is kind of having to hide around little corners, and and so it just adds this little extra bit of excitement to that scene, because every time a new bullet hole is created, a new beam of light comes through, and it just becomes more dangerous for Ethan Hawke. So that was a real interesting... that's the word I'm using over and over again, interesting. I'm sorry I'm not having a better vocabulary today. But yeah, that was just a different sort of way to go, and just shows how well thought out this universe was. And there's definitely some great performances. Willem Dafoe, as I said, is the leader of the survivalists, and he just gives a great, campy, over-the-top performance. He's given all these really sharp, funny one-liners. They're cheesy, but they're just really funny, and he kind of just tosses them off in this nonchalant way. And Willem Dafoe is just one of those actors that there's just something about him. I mean, he just has a way of delivering a line that's just perfect. I mean, he's kind of like a Christopher Walken kind of guy, where he can just take any line and just make it sound amazing. And Ethan Hawke is the lead, and he gives a solid performance, and there are some other performers throughout the film that give nice support. Sam Neill is the leader of the corporation, the president or whatever of the corporation that Ethan Hawke works for, and he's kind of the nominal villain here. And he's just really kind of smarmy and sleazy, and but not unsympathetic. So it's just a really well done film. I mean, it's not perfect. It's definitely kind of B-movie territory, but it's just done really well. And the fact that it's got this little kind of burst of intelligence in it rises it above a little bit. It's kind of a nice blend where it will appease the horror action fans. There's plenty of gruesome gore and blood, projectile vomiting, exploding heads. But the smarts that are there will, bring in a broader audience, people who like a little bit of brains in their kind of sci-fi horror films. So in a way, and I'm only thinking of this simply because Ethan Hawke is in it, in a way it kind of recalls Gattaca a little bit, albeit with this horror action flavor added to it. But yeah, I definitely dug it, so I recommend checking it out if you don't mind a little gore and blood. And so yeah, this is Alec, and keep watching.